Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pet Food Puzzle Guy. Everybody seems to want to hear about Open Farm, dog and cat food. So let's go ahead. In this video we're going to take a look at Open Farm, and we're going to do the cat food first. Haven't done a cat video in a while, and then we'll do the dog second. But let's go ahead and check out Open Farm cat food and see what we think. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at the Open Farm website real quick, just to see if we can pick anything out of it that shows us kind of the philosophy of the company. I think I'm going to do that from now on when I do reviews. Let's see what the website says. So I went to their website, and it's kind of interesting. First thing they say is that the best ingredients from the best sources deliver the best nutrition. So the best ingredients from the best sources deliver the best nutrition. I'm not sure about that. We'll see. There's lots of things that deliver the best nutrition, but the best nutrients delivered, that would be the best nutrition, right? So anyway, we see right away they're talking about ingredients, but let's go ahead and get started. I went through and what revealed a lot about the company was when I got to this one section where they were giving tips on how to feed your older cat. Now we're going to do cat here, so Ed and all the cat folks out there, I hope you appreciate this. So here are some tips to guide your search and things to avoid when choosing their daily meals. Now this is for your older cat, your senior cat. Number one, I'll put it up on the screen. Research the source. Look for brands that prioritize sustainable and ethically sourced ingredients. This ensures minimal environmental impact and high quality nutrition. At Open Farm, we are committed to using only sustainable, humanely raised or caught proteins so you can give your senior cat the best nutrition possible. Okay, I kind of have a problem. Help me out here, please, in the comments. How sustainability and environmental impact contributes to high quality nutrition. I don't see that there. I am all for humanely raised and caught proteins. Hey, I'm 1000% in support of that. I really am. But one could argue, well, even that, what does that have to do with the nutrition that's being provided for the cats? So definitely, though, we see right away they're into sustainability and the environment here, and somehow they've correlated those concerns into the optimal nutrition for your cat. I don't see that connection. If you do, please let me know, but at least we know where they're coming from. Here's the next one. Check the ingredient list. Here we go. We're going to hear this from pretty much every pet food company out there these days. Prioritize foods with animal-based proteins listed as the first ingredient, ensuring your cat gets the meat-rich diet they naturally require. In addition to common proteins like turkey or chicken, you can choose herring or mackerel as an omega-3 rich option. So again, prioritize. What do you want to do? Make sure meat is the first ingredient. You all know this, and if you don't, if you're new to my channel, first ingredient, it's just a big scam. The first ingredient is the heaviest. By law, the ingredient panel goes by weight, not by predominance or volume. So it's very easy for manufacturers to use a little bit of meat with all the water weight, get it right to the front of the ingredient panel. The other way is to split some of the other ingredients so the weight gets split up. So again, the more attractive ingredients move to the front. This has nothing to do with nutrition. What they're saying here, everybody says this, but it's just, I want to point out when they're saying stuff that they know better, but they're saying this to sound good. Okay, here you go. Here's the other point. Beware of fillers, okay? Avoid foods that use low-quality fillers like corn, wheat gluten, and meat byproducts. These don't provide optimal nutrition and can lead to digestive issues. So now corn and wheat gluten and meat byproducts are fillers. if you believe corn is a filler with no nutritional value, you need to go watch some of my videos or go watch Dr. Ray, her excellent video on corn. But corn is an excellent source of energy, protein, fiber, fatty acids. What else? That's just off the top of my head. So that's just not true. Maybe they don't know this or they're lying, one or the other. I don't know, but it's not accurate. Wheat gluten has its purposes. Meat, I like this meat, but no meat byproducts. But yet, if they're using organ meat like liver or heart or stuff like that, great sources of protein, by the way. I'm sorry, but that is meat byproducts. So one food company will say no meat byproducts, the other will promote the fact they're using all this organ meat, and it's one and the same. Again, it kind of little shaky here. And of course, corn, wheat gluten, and meat byproducts could lead to digestive issues. That's a new one on me. Okay, never heard of such a thing, but that's what it says. So far, I'm not too thrilled with what I'm reading here. But bottom line, this is just marketing. Maybe the product is actually good, right? We don't know. So let's see. Lastly, now remember, this is talking about older cats. Consider special dietary needs, because I do believe wholeheartedly geriatric animals do have definitely specific dietary needs that they didn't have when they were younger, which we will discuss. So what do they say? Some senior cats may benefit from specific nutrients like antioxidants for immune support or certain fatty acids for skin and coat health. Very true. This can include their grass-fed beef rustic blend with cranberries for an antioxidant boost. So here they are talking about specific dietary needs. They're talking about antioxidants for the immune system, and they mention how they use cranberries for antioxidants. So we will actually take a look. Let's hold their feet to the fire here, so to speak, and let's look at their antioxidant package since they mention it in their website. And this is funny. Now, this is kind of mean of me. I'm sorry, but I get a lot of flack. I get a lot of talk about how bad the big companies are. Hills, Royal Canin, and Purina. They're just out for profit. Blah blah blah. So they have a Q&A section on their website, and it's talking about what kind of product research have they conducted, and do they have any published peer-reviewed journals. Which is a great question to ask. If you ask that to Hills, Purina, and Royal Canin, yes, they have tons over decades. Okay, so here's their answer. This is so, this blows my mind. Listen to this and tell me, maybe I'm just too personal here, too close to the industry. We have not engaged in any peer-reviewed research to date. However, we are very passionate about the continued progression in nutrition science and stay abreast of industry research and new insights that can help us further elevate our foods and the nutrition solutions we provide pet parents. Now, am I just reading this wrong? Or, hey, we are really passionate about research. We don't do any. We let Hills, Royal Canin, and Purina and independent university studies that many times Hills or one of those other companies will help fund, or the Morris Animal Foundation funds. We let them do all that research, okay? And then, and we kind of blast them too, because they're just big kibble and their product is so unhealthy. But we're more than happy to let them do the research, and then anything that's really good from their research we'll definitely put into our foods to make our foods even better. That's how I read that. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But I have to admit, it's pretty funny that, oh no, peer-reviewed studies, no, we don't produce that. The other guys do that. But we do watch it. We do watch. So anyway, that's enough about their website. Not too impressed. Let's, which matters the most, let's take a look at the nutrient levels. Okay, so I got my little black book, and we're going to take a look at some of their open farm diets. And real quick, I just want to explain what I'm looking for is what are the healthiest diets. And we're going to do some comparisons to a few other diets, because any product looks good till you compare it to something else, and then you can say, okay, this one actually is a little better or more targeted to what I'm looking for. So we're going to take a look at 3 cat foods here. wellness, complete health, because they're real popular, and we're going to use science diet, adult, and of course we're looking at the open farm diets as well. So real quick, I just want to say this. I'm looking at protein because cats need protein, but I don't want them getting excessive protein because that's not good. Excessive is not good at any time. But I'm also looking at the micronutrients, right? Those of you that we've been looking at cat diets together, kidney disease and urinary stones are really way too common. We lose way too many cats to kidney disease later on in life, usually later on, hopefully not when they're young. That happens too. So I'm looking at not only protein, which affects kidneys, but I'm also looking at phosphorus. Phosphorus is found in the meat sources. Excess phosphorus is actually more dangerous to kidneys than the protein is. If you're in vet school now, that's what you're learning. It used to be protein. Now we know it's the phosphorus in the protein. But also calcium, magnesium, sodium, they make up the minerals that those urinary stones are made of. So restricting them and keeping them at optimal levels and not excessive, that also is reducing risk of disease, not only of kidney disease, but also urinary issues as well. So to me, those are the standards I'm looking at, not the ingredient panel. I'm looking at the nutrients delivered to see which one's healthiest. So when I put all these numbers up, that's what we're doing. Okay, now I gotta say, in my little black book, I don't have what I want. I want grams and milligrams per 100 kcals. That's the most accurate way of measuring of food, is looking at, for every calorie of food, how much protein did they get, how much sodium, how much magnesium. Many companies now, they just can't offer me that information. And with Open Farm, all I could get was the dry weight analysis. So we're going to use that for all three brands so that we're doing apples to apples. The dry weight analysis, just so you understand, that's not the guaranteed analysis on the bag. That is nothing but minimums and maximums. Never use that to judge a food. The minimums and maximums tell you nothing. As fed percentage is basically saying, here's the actual percentages, but with the moisture included. So depending on the product, the moisture could be higher or lower, so that's skewing the number a little bit when you're comparing. I have to admit, it doesn't skew it very much, but it does skew it. Dry matter basis is what you'll find. That's probably the best you can get from most companies, which is a shame, but got to work with what we can get. That's the dry matter, means they've taken the water out. So you have two foods, moisture levels are different. When you take the water out, now we're analyzing the percentage of those nutrients. So that's what we're going to do with these, because that's all I could get. I could not get grams per 100 kcals. Okay, make sense? Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. We are doing the Harvest Chicken Rustic Blend canned. Ed is one of my founding cat parents out there, one of my founder subscribers. If you want, he's got to be within the first 10, I'm sure. And he just doesn't like dry cat food. So in honor of Ed, he's going to appreciate this. We're just going to look at canned first. Okay, Ed, make you happy. You deserve it. You're a good guy. Okay, so we have Harvest Chicken Rustic Blend. We also are going to put up Wellness Core Digestive Health, one of their adult diets. Wellness is big out there. And I'm going to add in Science Diet, just their regular adult diet, not their urinary or GI or anything like that, just a regular adult diet. So let's go ahead and put up the numbers of these three canned foods. And I want to show you right away, if you take a look at the protein levels, you'll see Science Diet is the lowest at 38.5%, and Wellness is actually the highest at 48%, and there's Open Farm pretty much right in the middle at 44.9%. Science Diet is not deficient. Matter of fact, if you look in the clinical nutrition, small animal clinical nutrition textbook, it's kind of the standard of the veterinary profession. Science Diet's right in there. I'm okay with 44%. I really get a little nervous by the time we get up to 48%. Now again, high protein, cats need a relatively high protein number. They need a lot of meat protein. but it's not like the more we can shove in them, the better. Okay, optimal is always better than excessive, because too much protein, the animal's body has to break it down. The liver, the kidneys are overtaxed, and if it's one of those animals that's going to have kidney disease, overtaxing that kidney for a few years is not a very good idea. And all that protein, guess what? It has phosphorus. So let's take a look at the phosphorus numbers, which is really critical for kidney health. What do we find? We find in the Harvest Rustic Blend 1.8% calcium, 1.5% phosphorus. If we compare that to Wellness Core is a little lower. Even if this is kind of interesting, we've seen this before. Higher protein, mostly meat, right? It could be all meat actually in Wellness. But their calcium phosphorus number is actually 1.4 and 1.2. It's a little lower than the Rustic Blend from Open Farm. So what does that tell me? It tells me that the protein that Wellness Core is using is actually really good quality. It's really pure, or they've spent the money to get those excess minerals out, because I'm seeing a better mineral content even though it's a higher protein diet. Okay, so Wellness Core looks pretty good there. But look at Science Diet. Because of their lower protein number in this canned food, what do we see? 0.8 to 0.6%. So less than 1% of both of those minerals. That's what the nutritionists at Hills are notorious for. It's what they're famous for. It's why their diets are recommended by vets more than probably any other food out there, is because the whole idea is, what can we do to make this diet healthy? What does healthy mean? Promote good health, reduce the risk of disease. That's what does that. Okay, so that's pretty impressive. And again, if I look at Wellness Core and Harvest Rustic Blend from Open Farm, I'm not seeing that precise nutrient control. If we look at sodium and magnesium, again, two of the minerals that make up the stones that we have to deal with urinary cases, what do we see? In the Open Farm, 0.5%, 0.08%. What do we find in the Wellness Core? 0.4, almost the same as Open Farm, and 0.17 in magnesium for the Wellness Core. So a little higher than, quite a bit higher actually, than the Rustic Blend. And their Science Diet, the sodium is 0.3 and the magnesium is 0.06. So you kind of, I have to put these numbers up because there's just way too many if I just rattled them off. So looking at them, you can see this picture of dietary management, if you want to call it that, or nutrient control or nutrient restriction. I don't really like restriction. I think control is important. There's no deficiencies up there in the Science Diet, but you can see what they're trying to do with that diet for your cat's longevity and health. If we look at vitamin E, I've started looking at it. Remember, the Open Farm actually mentioned it for geriatric cats, that higher antioxidants would be a benefit. And of course, they mentioned cranberries. A lot of foods love blueberries for the antioxidant protection. So what do we have here? The vitamin E level. Here's the active antioxidant in the Open Farm, 202 international units per kilogram of food. Okay, I know the international units, it's a weird thing you don't talk about much, but we're going to compare apples to apples. That's important. If we look at Wellness Core, they only have 132 international units, so they're a lot lower than the Rustic Blend from Open Farm. And if we look at the Science Diet, we see a drastic difference, 821 international units. Now, when it comes to antioxidants, the whole idea is your body takes in oxygen and energy in the form of food. Takes in food and oxygen and delivers energy to the body. That produces free radicals. That produces a waste product, and that's what oxidative stress is. That's what the whole idea of antioxidants is, to destroy those free radicals, strengthen up the immune system. Hills did a lot of research in this back in the 90s actually, And that's where they learned about cellular damage and alcohol levels and all this kind of stuff. It was really interesting. So the numbers from Hills, you're going to find when you look at their diets versus many of the other foods out there, Hills is a lot higher, just like they are here, because they've done the research to know just adding vitamin E doesn't do it. You have to add enough vitamin E to actually make a difference. And I can just tell you, even though I didn't do the vitamin C levels, vitamin C actually keeps vitamin E working, kind of like regenerates it to keep being active. So vitamin C is actually pretty important to have along with vitamin E, even though I didn't put it on the slide here. But anyway, so there you go. If we look at canned, and I'm looking at which is healthiest, it's really a difference in philosophy. If you believe the nutritionists at Hills, and Hills does have more board-certified nutritionists. In the history of the 34 years I was with them, they always had more than any other food company. Most food companies don't have any, to be honest, that are full-time staff writing those peer-reviewed studies and formulating the amazing therapeutic diets they do. But these are the numbers that they're saying this is going to help your cat live longer and reduce the risk of some of these horrible diseases. If you don't really believe that's necessary and you just think more protein is good and you're not concerned with the excesses that excess protein brings, well then you can pretty much feed almost anything out there that appeals to you. But I do not apologize. In my camp, my way of thinking, from all the people I've learned from and from all the evidence I've seen day in and day out in vet clinics for for lots of years, this dietary management and restricting those excesses, that's the key to good health. That's the key, and especially, unfortunately, when we have to manage the disease, then we do even more manipulation of those nutrients. But notice, I am not showing you ingredient panels. I'm just not going to do it because it doesn't matter. What I'm looking for is the bottom line. Show me the nutrition that's delivered. Show me the nutrients delivered. And if they're healthy, hey, God bless them. Those veterinary nutritionists did it right, and that's who I'm trusting. And if appealing ingredient panels are what you're looking for, you got to watch a few of my videos on how not to get caught up in that ingredient panel game, because that's all it is. It's vague definitions. It's manipulating the weights of different ingredients, and it's not telling you anything till you look at the nutrients. It's kind of funny. We were reading an article on the website for Open Farm about a guide to feeding your geriatric cat or your senior cat, but Open Farm doesn't make a senior cat food. So they don't do the research and they don't make a senior cat food, but they could tell you, here's the tips to look for in a senior cat food. I don't know, it's crazy. But anyway, so I'm not too thrilled, but there's the cat food. Okay, I hope you're still with me. We're looking at dry cat food now. So Ed, you have to put on your blinders. Don't listen to this, okay? But for those of you that feed dry food, here you go. Here's Open Farm, and I'm putting up their Homestead turkey and chicken. This is their dry form, but they also have a raw mix, which is Open Prairie recipe for cats, and it has pieces of freeze-dried raw meat in it. Okay, so it's really the fancy stuff. Okay, here's the nutrient levels on both of those foods, and again, comparison is key here. If you look at these, there's not much of a difference. I mean, not much of a difference at all in these two diets, but one costs you almost $1 more per pound, okay, when you buy a 4 or 5 pound bag. So what's so important here is let's take a look at Wellness Complete Health next to these two and see what you think. Here we see the protein levels actually higher in Wellness, but look at the calcium, phosphorus, sodium, and magnesium. A big difference, a big improvement in the Wellness dry cat food versus the two dry formulas you can buy from from Open Farm. So really impressed to see the difference there. And what's ironic, look at the price difference. It literally, it's half the price to go with Wellness and get a better nutrient profile than you would get from raw mix and Homestead. So that's pretty significant. Let's throw the Science Diet Adult next to that. This is a dry form. We'll put it next to the other three, and there you go. Look at the Protein level, look at the mineral content, 0.9, 0.7, 0.4, 0.08, a much lower, healthier, restricted mineral content to help reduce the risk of kidney disease, reduce the risk of struvite crystals in the urine. And again, if you look at the vitamin E levels that Open Farm talked about, what do we find? 734 international units versus 40 in wellness, 95 in homestead, and 70 in raw mix. So, and Science Diet comes in at basically this around the same price as wellness. So there you go. There's a nice big picture looking at some nutrient levels and cost per pound. And this is one of those examples that you don't get what you pay for sometimes when it comes to pet food. Well, there's Open Farm Feline. I hope that's been informative. Thanks. Catch you on the canine side.